Top 8 Wedding Traditions Around the World. Marriage is one of the oldest and most sacred traditions known to man. It's a celebration of the union of two people who intend to love and spend the rest of their lives together. But those who feel anxious about a life as a singleton forever fear not, as finding a soulmate may not be as tricky as it typically once was. One of the most amazing things about our world is how the same action or tradition can be implemented so differently in each culture. Take marriage for instance, it's practiced around the world, but the way a wedding is celebrated varies immensely across cultures. If you're marrying someone from another country or just attending a destination wedding, you may experience some of these differences. Of course, not all weddings in every country are the same, and not everyone follows these traditions to T. In any case, the way we each take something like a wedding and make it our own is quite special. Here are some of the many ways wedding traditions are different around the world. Wedding in India. Those of you who come from non-South Asian backgrounds may be wondering what to expect at an Indian wedding. Even if you've attended a ceremony in the past, consider that with upward of 30 distinct cultures within the continent, no two Indian weddings will be exactly the same. People think Indian weddings are Indian weddings, but that's not true, says Sonal J. Shah, a wedding planner for the South Asian community in the US. It's important to know the type of Indian family, North Indian, South Indian, Punjabi, and recognize it's still a matter of how cultural nuances are addressed individually. A typical Indian wedding timeline stretches about 3 days. The Hindu wedding ceremony, which takes place on the third day, usually lasts between 1.5 to 2 hours and is then followed by the reception. The whole day clocks around 16 hours. Rather than wearing hand jewelry, in India it's traditional for the bride to spend hours getting mehndi, paint made from henna, intricately painted on her. While it requires a lot of patience, the results are a beautiful work of art that lasts roughly 2 weeks on the skin. Interestingly enough, mehndi is actually painted onto the bride for its medicinal properties. It's meant to help calm the bridge while dealing with the stress of the wedding day. The wedding traditions of Norway. At first glance, a Norwegian wedding may look like any other European wedding, with modern brides often in long white gowns and grooms in black tuxedos. However, when you take a closer look, many unique events and customs make a Norwegian wedding stand out from those of its neighboring countries. In this article, we'll explore what typically happens during and after a wedding in Norway. Weddings in Norway tend to occur in church, with civil ceremonies taking place in town and city halls. Norwegian weddings are small events with just the closest family and friends being invited, and children are often not included, unless they are the children of the couple getting married. As mentioned above, brides and grooms often wear similar outfits to couples in the UK. However, a groom may sometimes choose to wear a bunad, a traditional Norwegian folk costume that has become increasingly popular on formal occasions in modern times. Brides in Norway traditionally wear a wedding crown, a treasured family heirloom passed down through the generations and said to represent the bride's purity. Usually made from silver, a Norwegian wedding crown features gold spoon-shaped droplets designed to make music when the bride moves and dances. The theory is that this music wards off evil spirits and ensures a happy day. If you attend a wedding in Norway, you'll love the cake for 2 reasons. For starters, a traditional wedding cake, called a kransekake, is created by placing iced almond cake rings on top of each other to create a cone shape. Even better, in the center of this hollow cake, you'll find gifts, like a bottle of champagne or wine. Another fun tradition is that the bride and groom pick up the top ring of the cake. It's a legend in Norway that however many layers stick to it underneath are the amount of children they will have. Wedding in Cuba. During Cuban wedding receptions, wedding guests partake in the traditional money dance, where each man who dances with the bride pins money to her dress to help with honeymoon expenses. Aside from the bouquet toss, single ladies at the party are expected to wear special pins upside down. If the pin is lost, that woman will be next in line to marry. Wedding favors for the men are typically cigars, and other favors include wedding cookies, Spanish hand fans, or local art such as pottery. When the future married couple visits in person to surprisingly announce their wedding, it's a tradition to serve them scrambled eggs as a snack. Since the suddenly invited wedding guests can't prepare for a spontaneous meal, it became a tradition to prepare something quick and simple everyone usually has in the kitchen: scrambled eggs. Germany adopted the tradition from the US and it is similar. Bar hopping or clubs are very popular. Some bachelors are equipped with Ballerwagen, a simple wagon usually weighed down by adult beverages. Bachelorettes sell shots for some euros followed by a kiss for the future bride. In Germany, rehearsal or groom's dinners are not celebrated. The Polterabend is the equivalent, which is usually celebrated 1 to 3 weeks prior to the wedding. Every guest brings old porcelain to break at the party. The breaking is supposed to banish evil spirits. The future bridal pair has to clean it up together. Don't be surprised if guests show up with porcelain toilets or with a truck full of porcelain. It's all legit as long as it's not glass, which is considered bad luck if you break it. The engagement ring in Germany is worn on the left-hand ring finger while the wedding ring goes on the right hand. Between coffee and cake in the afternoon and dinner, it's tradition to hijack the bride. Some close friends take the bride to a bar to drink champagne, followed by a small Bavarian band, mostly equipped with an accordion. The group enjoys the party without the groom. The groom has to find the group and bring the wedding bouquet to the bride, followed by some games in which he has to funny things. The groom has to pay the bill, and he gets all the corks from the killed bottles on a rope as a huge necklace. The whole group then heads back to the main wedding location. While still wearing their wedding attire, German newlyweds sometimes saw a log in half while all their guests watch on in a tradition known as Baumstammsagen. Given a two-person saw, the tradition is meant to symbolize how the couple will work together as they face obstacles in their marriage. Wedding in Philippines. Long before the Spaniards set foot on Philippine soil, the native wedding was a 3-day extravaganza, filled with folk rituals that included the blessing of rice grains, the drawing of blood, and the symbolic binding of the couple by cord. While celebrations have since become simplified, many of these pre-colonial customs remain, flavored with more Hispanicized and Americanized traditions. Today, a typical Filipino wedding consists of the following rituals: a candle lighting, a coin blessing, a veiling, the tying of the nuptial cord, as well as the throwing of rice grains. During the candle ceremony, the ninong and neneng would light the couple's candles, who then light up a larger, middle candle as a sign of unity. Catholic in origin, it signifies Jesus Christ as the light of the world, ever present during the couple's marriage. The 3 candles, on the other hand, are a reminder that this commitment takes 3 to be complete, the 2 partners and God. The coin ceremony meanwhile represents the couple's sharing of worldly goods, for richer or poorer. Here, sponsors would present the wedding officiator with 13 coins, also called los eras or ura, which represent Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles, then trickling them into the hands of both partners. Then would come the veiling ceremony, which in itself signifies humility, that God will help them shoulder any burdens they might encounter during their marriage. Here, sponsors would clothe the couple as one, placing the veil on the shoulders of the groom and on the bride's head. For the tying of the nuptial cord, also known as the yugal, 2 sponsors would help bind the couple together, placing a silk lasso, or flower strands or a special rosary, over the couple's heads. Ideally, these would be tied in a figure 8, which looks similar to the infinity sign. Once the ceremony ends and the newlyweds step out of the venue, both of them are showered by rice grains, as a way to wish for prosperity, luck, and happiness to the couple. Wedding in Kenya. Would you drink soup from a toilet on your wedding day? However, this is a ritual followed in some countries during marriage. It is believed that drinking soup from a toilet would bring good luck in the marriage. Everyone is familiar with wedding staples like tossing the bouquet and the first dance. But, have you ever imagined slaughtering a chicken or marrying a banana tree? There are quite a few wildest wedding traditions from around the globe. In Kenya, the father of the bride spits on the breasts and face of his daughter before the wedding. The bride's head is also shaved and lamb fat is rubbed onto her skin. These traditions are said to bring good luck and fortune to the newly married couple. This tradition is followed among tribes in Kenya. At a wedding ceremony held by the Maasai people, the father of the bride blesses his daughter by spitting on her head and breasts. She then leaves with her husband and does not look back for fear of turning into stone. Even as there has been a lot of criticism about the ritual by people, the tribes continue to follow it. Wedding in Nigeria. Nigerian couples have 2 weddings, twice the fun. A traditional Nigerian wedding is the first one, followed by the religious ceremony. Both ceremonies are days or weeks apart. The bridal party wear their color-coordinated outfits. The traditional Igbo tribe wedding attire for a Nigerian bride is special. It includes a lace blouse, bright kaftan-like skirt, matching coral beads, and head tie for the bride. Brides wear bold and bright-colored makeup and accessories to brighten them for the big day. The couple wears traditional wedding attires for their cultural weddings. The religious wedding is a normal white wedding in a white dress. The couple adorns the Western country's attires, a white wedding dress for the bride and a suit for the groom. Food is a love language to the Nigerians. Food also symbolizes their connection to one another. Plenty of different cuisines, both traditional like pounded yam and modern international delicacies, are available. Remember, these weddings do not have a guest list, so there is plenty of food as well for hundreds of people present. Drinks are also available with their favorite palm wine present throughout the ceremony. The wedding party goes into the night with guests enjoying food, drinks and music non-stop. The wealthy families are known to give the best parties. Modern weddings are hiring a DJ to keep the guests entertained. Nigerian wedding traditions are a big deal. They are full of fun and food that doesn't seem to run out. Their culture is well preserved though the ages, and with a little touch of modern stands out over the top. Chinese wedding. It is Chinese tradition for the bride to wear a red dress, called a qipao, and to cover her face with a red veil on the wedding day. In Chinese culture, red symbolizes happiness, prosperity and good luck. Today, modern weddings call for the bride to wear a white bridal gown, and third ball gown throughout the evening. Many modern brides also change into a fourth dress at the end of the ceremonies to send off their guests. This is a very lavish and usually expensive affair. Guests will sign their names in a book or on a scroll to present their gifts. Once the dinner begins, the bride then changes into a traditional red Chinese wedding dress. In traditional Chinese culture, both sets of parents would have separate wedding feasts. Many foods are considered symbolic in Chinese culture, like the whole fish for abundance, and sweet lotus seeds for dessert, which symbolizes a wish for fertility. There are usually 6 courses during the banquet, and both the bride and groom change will clothing between the 3rd and 6th courses. Weddings in China include a tradition meant to bond families together. Historically, the bride would serve tea to her family before the wedding, and after the ceremony, the couple would perform the tea ceremony for the groom's family, according to the knot. But today, tea ceremonies are typically given to honor both families. They can be done privately directly after the wedding, the day after the wedding, or even between the ceremony and reception with all guests present. During the ceremony, relatives including grandparents, parents, aunts, and uncles are served a cup of tea and each takes a sip. After they sip, each relative hands the couple a lai-si, or red envelope, that contains money, jewelry, or another token, and the envelopes are placed on the tea tray. The ceremony is a way for the bride and groom to show love and appreciation for their relatives raising them and caring for them, and for their families to share a special moment to give their blessing. It's also the first time that the bride and groom will address their in-laws by their new titles. Thank you for watching.